right, Guardians. Are you ready for one last ride?
Let's give the galaxy something to remember us by.
Drax, sit up!
That's what it's here for.
Drax, it's called a sofa. It's not a bed.
What? I find it hard to believe it doesn't have multiple purposes.
Doesn't really matter, does it? I'm sorry. My friend is stupid.
I'm hungry.
All right.
I want you all to know that I'm grateful to fight beside my friends.
He didn't want to make things perfect. He just hated things the way they are.
Incinerate them.
We were always searching for a family until we found each other.
Are you ready for one last ride?
We'll all fly away together.
Into the forever and beautiful sky.
Knock it off!
What?
Just never noticed how black your eyes were.
They were replaced by my father as a method of torture.
He picked a pretty set.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel dropped a brand new Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer with a bunch of new footage, so we'll break it down. There's a bunch of Easter eggs. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're getting ready for Secret Invasion episodes too. Of course, I'll do videos for all those as well. Just starting with the brand new stuff, we see a new shot of Gamora having one of those same types of milk drinks that Rocket is drinking later in the trailer. I'll explain their drinks in a second too, because it's a bit of a funny Easter egg, especially if you're a huge fan of Marvel from back in the day. This also starts to give us a better look inside the Guardians' new ship, the Bowie, which is like the brand new ship that they had as of the holiday special. In the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, we saw a little bit more of it when Drax and Mantis took it to go back to Earth to steal Kevin Bacon. It's meant to be a huge upgrade over their previous ships, the Milano, then the Benatar. Like each time, they get a slightly nicer, slightly bigger ship. It's kind of like Iron Man getting new armors in all of his movies. The Guardians get new ships. We get the new shot of Rocket in front of this fridge here. The funny Easter egg here is that it seems like he's drinking, and Gamora is also drinking, space milk, because the writing on the fridge behind him, zoom and enhance, is in the Kree language, and it translates to milk. Because the main villain of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is the High Evolutionary, this is also meant to be a bit of a deep-cut Easter egg for Bova, one of the High Evolutionary's creations, who was a huge part of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's origin story. Also, the whole idea, you get milk from cows. We're in space, so they're space cows. One of the space cows in the Marvel Universe is Bova. In the comics, High Evolutionary's whole thing, as you see during the trailers, is creating human-animal hybrids. But originally, his main base was on planet Earth, which is how he runs into Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch when they were children. One of his earliest creations was Bova. There was also an Easter egg for her during WandaVision in the supermarket during the opening credits, because that series was all about Scarlet Witch, with a little bit of Quicksilver. Not quite the Quicksilver we were expecting. So Magneto is Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's father. He has them with his wife Magda, but after they're born, afraid of what will happen to Magneto, because he is Magneto, everyone wants to kill him, and he's kind of dangerous himself, Magda flees to Mount Wundagore nearby with the twins, who are still newborns. The High Evolutionary's base used to be on Mount Wundagore. There was an Easter egg for Mount Wundagore during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That was the place where Chthon built the Darkhold Temple in the MCU. So Magda flees to Mount Wundagore to visit the High Evolutionary, asks for sanctuary for the twins, which he denies. Bova then gives them to the Maximoffs, which is why Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch have the last name Maximoff. They're Wanda and Pietro Maximoff. They don't carry the Lensher name for their real father. Bova had been one of the High Evolutionary's earliest experiments and became one of his Knights of Wundagore, one of the more powerful groups initially, and eventually he decides that he couldn't push his science, his experiments any further on planet Earth, and that's when he gets the idea to create Counter-Earth, which is the place we see in all the trailers here with the human-animal hybrids, like this freakish-looking version of Earth because it is, quote-unquote, Counter-Earth. I'm assuming High Evolutionary's backstory will be a little bit different in the MCU, because in the comics he started out as a regular human scientist. His name was Herbert Edgar Wyndham. There was an Easter egg for him in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The planet that they crash on at the beginning of the movie, right after they run into Ego the Living Planet, is Burhurt. That's meant to be an anagram of Herbert Edgar Wyndham. So it's like James Gunn was giving us a little spoiler Easter egg there. Spoiler, I'm going to be doing the High Evolutionary in my next movie. There's a new scene of Rocket piloting the Bowie, which seems like it's happening a little bit earlier in the movie. Then there's a new scene of Adam Warlock beating the hell out of Nebula on Nowhere, and in the background there's another huge Easter egg. Zoom in and enhance, there's a sign that's also in the Kree language. It translates to Thomas. It's meant to be an Easter egg for Roy Thomas, the comic book creator who co-created the Adam Warlock character, who is now beating the hell out of the Guardians. Just like in the comics, his whole thing, as he says in the trailer, is trying to create the perfect life form, and he just feels like humans aren't up to the task, which is why he starts creating these human-animal hybrids. Thus, he creates beings like Rocket. Even though they play this scene for comedy, like Drax just trying to chill out like it's a couch. Why shouldn't I lie on it? Everything is meant to look like it's from your grandma's house that she hasn't changed in the last 50 years. Like the High Evolutionary wants everything on Counter-Earth to look quintessentially American, like old-school American. There's a bunch of deep cuts from the comics and how he wound up getting the Soul Stone in his forehead. Now, he does have a gem in his forehead in all the trailers, but that's probably just tied to the way that his power works in the MCU. He doesn't have an Infinity Stone in the MCU. But like you look on the walls in the background, they have more human-looking people and stock photos. Just everything is meant to look hilariously American. Of Groot, the Chad version of Groot, is going to be called Kaiju Groot. They also revealed that he can grow wings and fly, which is a brand new thing for movies since he got Stormbreaker, like in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. The wood that grows from Groot's body is super hard compared to normal trees. That's part of the reason why Stormbreaker is so strong. Like the metal, the enchantments on it, that kind of creates the MCU version of a lightsaber. He can give it off in blasts, you see it coursing all over his body, and it's also probably how he can fly. Like he uses it the way Iron Man would use repulsor technology, except he doesn't wear a special suit to generate the energy, it just comes from his body. The other big thing about Adam Warlock is that Ayesha gave him the name Adam during the second Guardians of the Galaxy post-credit scene, but nobody has called him Warlock yet. That'll probably wind up happening in this movie. Early theory is that he'll just do something crazy with his powers, and one of the characters will call him a Warlock because of that. Usually in the comics, though, he started out being called Warlock, and then eventually later, one of the beings on Counter-Earth that he helped save when he was getting the Soul Gem from the High Evolutionary called him Adam. But in that case, it was meant to be more of a biblical reference because the story that was taking place in was more of a reference to Bible stories. But James Gunn said they're playing him in this movie the same way they played Vision in Avengers Age of Ultron, like a Born Yesterday kind of vibe where he totally does not understand what's going on, but he's meant to be nigh invincible, like he has crazy powers, but just has no concept of what's going on. No real understanding of good and evil, and that will just continue in the future. That'll be a big part of his arc. In the same way that Vision pondered morality during Avengers Age of Ultron. We get more flashback scenes with the High Evolutionary. It actually seems like we see a couple different versions of the character, like one of them has hair, and then in the later footage, you see him with his skin all pulled back like he's been upgraded even more. That's actually right out of the comics. The whole idea with the character is that he started out as a regular human, Herbert Wyndham, and then slowly upgraded himself, and the reason why he wears a mask is because he messed up his face so bad while he was upgrading himself. So all the footage of him in this tank here looks like him getting ready to upgrade Rocket in the past, like this is a flashback of Rocket's origin story. You also see the High Evolutionary looking like he hasn't upgraded himself quite as much either. So that in present day, when they see him on Counter-Earth, he looks way different because he's given himself way more powers. That's also another thing about the character. He's meant to be super powerful, but his powers are also kind of nebulous. He continually upgrades himself to give himself more powers and make himself more powerful. He's even been able to fight beings like Galactus, like that's how powerful he gets. They don't show you a ton of his powers in the trailers. We only see him use telekinesis, and it looks like he can also fly, but he has way more powers than that. They also have some brand new footage from a separate 4DX trailer where you see Nebula inside the cockpit of the Bowie ship, and it looks like the High Evolutionary has done something to disable it somehow. There's energy arcing all over the room. It just seems like it's when they eventually encounter him in the movie. If you spotted any other Easter eggs or references in the brand new trailer footage that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. And there'll be more trailers because we're getting really close to the movie coming out. James Gunn did say we'd start seeing some more footage pretty soon. Also, big reminder, the next big Marvel series that's coming out on Disney Plus will be Secret Invasion. They've delayed that to June now. That will be like the next big thing that happens after Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'll start doing more videos for that when we get more trailer footage. This should be in the next month or so. Right now, I'm currently in the middle of doing Mandalorian Season 3 videos. You can click here for that brand new Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 6 video. I'll update the link as soon as I post that. And click here for that brand new Deadpool 3 trailer video and learn about the 2 Wolverines that are supposed to be in the movie. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.